Hey everybody, thank you for joining me. It's Eric Green. This week's Tax Rep Network podcast update is really going to be short, but I wanted to respond to a lot of the comments that I've gotten, which has been basically, I've been talking a lot about why people should be adding IRS Representation Services to their existing practices. Maybe you want to use this to launch your own practice. Maybe you're tired of doing 1040s, whatever. But I get a lot of, Eric, people are hurting. Why is now the time? Well, the statistics that we're getting, and hopefully what you're hearing from the government speakers we have coming on the show, is there is going to be a tidal wave of work. Okay, so I wanted to take a moment to explain to you what I'm seeing. All right, so let's talk about what we know. Prior to the pandemic, prior to coronavirus showing up, as of December 31st of 2019, there were 15,002,000 taxpayer accounts in the collection division inventory. So there were more than 15 million taxpayers that were already in collection. However, we know that the IRS and TIGTA, right, Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration, had already identified more than 10 million taxpayers that the government wasn't even going after. So there were already 25 million taxpayers in trouble. Now, since then, what has happened? Well, we're now dealing with coronavirus. Okay, and not to get political, but it doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon, and I suspect it's not going to go away until there's actually a working vaccine. But what we're seeing right now, all right, the Tax Practice Advisor reported that they did a massive survey of taxpayers. 1 in 3 taxpayers are telling them they will be unable to pay their 2019 taxes. All right, the New York Times reported, had an article, the eve of the bankruptcy storm. All right, we have not seen the number of bankruptcies filed so far, this number, since 2012. Okay, and in fact, that is expected to spike because a lot of businesses are holding out in the hopes that the government's going to come in with another bailout. All right, there are already 4 million home foreclosures that are in forbearance during coronavirus. But at some point, unless someone comes bails all those people out, those home foreclosures are going to start. All right. What's going to happen is when all those go on the market and the lenders take control of them and have to dump them, you're going to see a depression of the housing market. Okay, as well as a lot of COD. All right, we're going to have a lot of cancellation of debt because these people probably can't afford to pay, between losing jobs, businesses being wiped out. We have unemployment in this country now north of 10%, all right? And the divorce rates, by the way, are already up 29%. And from what we've been reading, the industries that follow that are expecting that to spike even more between now and the end of the year, okay? So what does all this mean? It means we are going to see not just the 25 million that we're already keeping us busy, but we're going to see numbers go through the roof. All right. And as evidence of that, you've heard the IRS talking about different programs to help taxpayers. Aside from the fact they've been holding off on enforcement. But the other thing the IRS has done is they have made available, there's something called a streamlined installment agreement. And a streamlined installment agreement is where you don't have to submit any financials. You just call, pick up the phone, and set up an agreement. So if you want to just get a sense of how bad the IRS thinks it's going to be, prior to 2012, it was 25,000. If you owe 25,000 or less and could full pay over 60 months, you could call the IRS or go online, set up an agreement, done. No financials, no disclosures, nothing. In 2012, the Fresh Start Initiative increased it to 50,000. Well, starting in 2016, the IRS launched a pilot program, but just for the campus collections, that increased it to 100,000 over 84 months. The field was, and still is, meaning revenue officers, the field collection force, they are still, for individuals, $50,000, all right, over 72 months. But the automated campus, which is where most collection work is done, the pilot program was 100,000, right, over 84 months. That basically has been done away with and is now what they're calling a non-streamlined agreement. It's 250,000 over the time remaining on the collection statute. So what that means is the government is expecting a massive surge of taxpayers with balances that they can't pay. And rather than having people have to submit financials, I mean, when you have to go through the collection process, it slows everything down. It slows everything down for the IRS, for taxpayers, paperwork going back and forth. What the IRS is saying is, look, if you owe $250,000 or less, we don't want to be bothered. Don't bother with the paperwork. Just propose an agreement, and as long as it's going to full pay, we could care less. Just get into your agreement. Now, why would they do that? Because they're not going to be able to handle the inventory. All right. But remember, it's not just the 2019 taxes. We're going to have people get body slammed in 2020. Business owners that have businesses fail are probably going to end up owing payroll tax. They're going to end up owing sales tax. They're not going to be able to pay for their income, whatever they had in 2020, because you can bet they're not making their estimated tax payments. So what I'm telling you, the time to make money, all right, for those of us to help taxpayers and help them, you know, get this resolved and make money doing it is now. All right. Now, has the tsunami started? No, here's what I think. I think what you're going to see is October 15th is going to come and go. People won't be able to pay. All right. Most of them, if they're smart, will file their returns, right? Save the 25% failure to file penalty right out of the gate. And then the billing notices are going to happen. So I think you're going to see the first wave of this, all right, around mid-November. But what also is going to happen is businesses that have been deferring the payroll tax, they're supposed to start paying that starting in January. They're not going to be able to, many of them. So I think what you're going to find is come January, now the business collection is going to go crazy. So the time to do this is now. All right. So what are we doing here? Well, one, obviously, Tax Rep Network is here. If you want to learn to really build your practice and how we market for these clients, please come and join us. We have a special going now. If you use the discount code TAXREPNOW, that will save you $100 off for 3 months. All right, you'll save $300. You can get in and get started going through the training and get the marketing going. The other thing is we now have a 20-hour certificate program. If you want to go through the training and be able to hold yourself out that you've done the training in this area on audits, collection, offers and compromise, innocent spouse, all right, and payroll tax problems, resolving payroll tax problems, go check out the certificate program. It's a great way to get your CPE, get your training, and then have a designation that you can hold out there to the public. All right. So anyway, thanks for tuning into Tax Rep Network. All right. But to respond to all of you that have sent in the questions about what it is that I'm seeing, that's what I'm seeing. Right. We're already busy. We're going to get a lot busier. All right. So keep plugging away, keep training, keep marketing, keep building your practices, and I'll see you next week inside Tax Rep Network. Bye-bye.